What's up, guys? Back again. Gonna do part two of this the money making guide that I was working on. So in the first guide we showed about the filter, did a quick explanation of maps and whatnot. Some people have asked to show how to set up maps properly, so in this section we're going to show how to set up maps, the best way to maximize loot out of it and whatnot. So without further ado, I'll start into that. So obviously in our stash we'll have a bunch of different tablets and whatnot. Depending on what you want to do, depends on what tablets you use. So if you want to just kill a load of stuff, get crafting bases and whatnot. Items at the moment are kind of rough to sell because there's so much stuff on the market and people are already at like the end tier. So I know in the last video I said like picking up items and crafting bases and whatnot is really great. And yes, you can make money from it. You have to sell cheap, and you do get quick sales if you do sell cheap, but there is a limit to it. So currency is very strong to pick up, obviously, because currency is just flat currency. So the best money you can make is items that are consumable, that are sellable, because there is obviously they can't be infinite because they get used. Items, on the other hand, once they're made, they're there forever. So with that being the case, that sort of puts rituals at the top of money making. So if you can get ritual tablets, I don't know if I actually have any. I have one. But if you can get ritual tablets, these are worth a fair bit of money. They're not cheap. So just this tablet with 7 maps in range is about 40 exalts. If you can buy it for that. I mean, this has been up for a month. It's been up 24 days, so maybe even more, like 80 exalts plus, 100 exalts maybe. But rituals are extremely profitable. And the reason this is because on the Atlas tree, once you do all of your crux boss runs at every level, you'll unlock the tree. And if you go up this side, you only need 4 points total. You got this side of the tree, and the big one here is ritual favors in your maps have a 50% increased chance to contain an audience with the king. And this is what we want, is the audience of the king. Because if we check with Alva, say we want an audience, and I have divines, there's 7.6 divines per audience. So this is a lot of money. What we want to do, of course, on the Atlas as well, is your ritual maps always have 4 ritual altars. This is very important. And then ritual altars in your maps allow re-rolling favors an additional time. This gives us more chance at hitting the audience of the king. So because the audience of the king is expensive on ritual points, the best way for us to get a lot of points, so we don't have to keep running rituals and deferring, is if when we go our waystones, if we get waystones with magic monsters, so a map like something like that, or maybe this one. So say a map like this, you can see it has increased number of magic monsters, increased number of magic monsters, increased number of rare monsters. These are the sort of maps you want to run on rituals. You don't need to worry about the rarity, anything like that. You only want increased magic monsters and increased pack size, increased magic pack size. That'll get you a lot more monsters in your rituals to get a lot more points. So you won't have to keep deferring, so you can buy your audience of the king straight up. So maybe you will have to defer it once or twice, but this is extremely good, extremely important when you're running it. The other big thing is putting delirium. Now bear in mind what delirious means. Say this is 31% delirious. This means there will be 31% increased amount of monster density. It means monsters, I believe it means monsters deal 31% more damage. And it also increases the loot boost. So you get more loot in delirious maps. So the higher delirious, the more monsters, the harder it is, the more loot you can get, or the better loot you can get. So make sure you're always using delirium if you're at endgame and you're strong enough. Rare monsters and magic monsters are the most important. The delirium you want for this is paranoia, I believe does rare monsters, and ire does magic monsters. And make sure we're telling the truth on this one. So yeah, you do paranoia, it's 15% increased rare monsters, and 1 paranoia is 12% delirious. 20% increased magic monsters with an ire, with 7% increased delirious. So what you want to do is, if you don't have a hell of a lot of money, you're better off running ire, and if you aren't as strong or as confident, you run 3 ire, and that'll put you at 21% delirious with 60% magic monsters. But if you're feeling stronger and you believe you can run it, then you go 3 paranoia to get yourself at 36% delirious with 45% increased rare monsters. So this is what you want to be doing for your ritual maps, and going for the audience for the king. Also, if you can, and you get ritual tablets that have omen chants, if you can stack those up and put them together with a bunch of towers, then you have more chance of getting like the high tier omens like witlings and whatnot, which are worth even more than audience of the king, like 10 divine plus. So with the towers as well, like I explained last time, you basically want to find an area that has a bunch of towers like this. And obviously if you got omen rituals, you stack them up so they all would affect one area. So you'd get more percentage of omen increase in that one area. It doesn't matter too much on rituals if they don't have the omen increase. You could just put them anywhere and just run the ritual map. But yeah, that's for rituals. Rituals, you're basically just going for audience for the king. You're trying to get a lot of density in a map so you can get a lot of points. So if you do come across the audience for the king, you can get it a lot sooner. And then once you get it, you just re-roll in, rinse and repeat. But yeah, delirium is also very, very nice, very helpful. And you get delirium splinters, which you can combine together once you get 300. And then that is a delirium stone, which you can then sell for even more money. So moving on to the next one, which waystones, where are we now? It's breaches. So the only two you really want to be running honestly for money is rituals and breaches. Breaches are very good as well, because currently I believe a breachstone is, we got exalts. So a breachstone is 218 exalts, and it's 300 breach splinters for a breachstone. You can get maybe one breachstone every 2 breaches if you have high enough quantity and high enough density in your maps, because they just drop like hotcakes. So for instance, in the section that I boosted here, I have a bunch of towers, like so many towers. And what I did with all these towers is, as you can see, everything pretty much has a breach on it. But all my tablets, my all my tablets, breach tablets had quantity. And then I did some irradiated tablets as well. So what you want to do, say you have a section like this, is you use all quantity breach tablets until you fill the area with breaches. And then once the area is filled with breaches, you would use quantity irradiated tablets to try and irradiate the maps to get a +1 on the map. Then you check, and like you can see here, this one's got 108% increased quantity, which is a massive boost. What was it? I was going to say something about that as well. So yeah, massive boost to that. Then obviously your delirium. Now delirium on breach, you just want to do rare monsters. You boost the rare monsters as much as possible. The reason for this is rare monsters drop the best loot. They can drop splinters. You want to get the increased rarity and everything. You get higher delirious state, so you get more density. You get more rare items. It's just better altogether. So you just slap like this one. So this is a sort of map you'd want to run on breach. It's increased quantity, increased rarity. The only way we could make this better as if this had increased increased rare monsters. So all in all, breaches are going to be more expensive in the case of maps. So buying waystones for breaches is more expensive because you want quantity, rarity, and rare monsters. Whereas, what is it? Buying maps for rituals, you don't really need to do because you can easily roll magic monsters. But the actual ritual tablets themselves are expensive. Breach tablets, on the other hand, I don't think they're too expensive. We'll check the price of this. So this one has increased rare monsters and chance to contain 3 additional breaches. So these ones you can just pick up for 10 to 20 exalts. So buying the tablets for breaches is a lot cheaper, but the maps to buy are more expensive. Buying ritual tablets are just expensive on their own. Depends what you want to do. The chance of finding an audience for the king in rituals is very hit and miss. I've had some where I've found an audience with a king, gone into the next ritual, found another audience with a king. But then I've done like 10 or 15 maps and not found a single one. Breaches, if you like consistent drops, consistent loot. Breaches, you run them, you're consistently getting exalts, you're consistently getting drops. Depends on what you prefer. If you prefer like the slow increase in profit, then run breaches. If you prefer big influxes at random intervals, then run rituals. So that's the best way to get like chunks of money in. But like I say, it is also very hit and miss. Another thing is expeditions. Expeditions can be fruitful, but they're not that great. Whenever you run an expedition map, when you get to the expedition, what you want to do is look for the little stone in the ground that says increased chance at expedition logbook. You always want to try hit that first, and then try hit an increased rare monsters, and then an increased quantity, and then hit as many flags as you can, and that'll give you the highest chance of getting logbooks. Logbooks sell for a fair price. I'm not entirely sure how much. I think I have a couple here. So this level 79 logbook. Apparently we can't search for it. But I'm pretty sure logbooks sell for around a divine or so. So this is another really good way to make money. Also in this video, I said last video I was going to show how to craft breach rings. So I'll grab a couple rings out here. I'll do one with this because it's already got stats. I'm sure I got another one with 33 intelligence there. Right. So now I'll grab a load of random. So my 2 that have stats already are here. Right, so crafting breach rings. Breach rings can be incredibly profitable, by the way. So what you want for this is however many breach rings I've got, which I've got 9 here. I've only got 8 Essence of Infinite. Let me grab some more of these. Oh, let's just do this. Right. So, with breach rings, the most expensive rings at the moment are stat stacking rings, I believe. So you grab Essence of Infinite on any grey or white item base breach rings that you have. You just spam click on these. And then you want to check the tiers. So anything 28 to 30 is a tier 7. That's the second highest tier. And a tier 8 is, I believe, like 31 to 33, and that's a tier 8 base. So that's highest base. So you want to be looking for these 2 bases, tier 7 and tier 8. So this is a very good one. This one's mid. This one's tier 7. Tier 6, we'll put tier 6 there. That was a tier 5. Didn't hit that one. I need to buy a couple more just in case. This is also a tier 5. These ones are bust. This is bust. And that's a tier 5. Right, so far we have a tier 7, a tier 7, a tier 8, and a tier 7. Now we want to augment. We'll augment these ones here, see if we get anything. Everything's kind of bad. This one's kind of good. Intelligence and mana is always nice. We can hit these ones as well to see if maybe we can recover. No recovery there. We'll just get rid of them. This one's bad as well. We'll speak to Doriani and sell them off. This one's bad. This one's bad. Okay, so now I'll augment the next ones, the higher tier ones. So this one's got a real bad roll. This one got tier 6 fizz, which is not bad. This one got real bad evasion. This one got real bad mana. So anything that doesn't get great rolls, basically the way this goes is, say this has 33 intelligence. If we then hit another top tier stat that's useful, like mana, or we hit 31 to 33 dex or strength, then we would use a greater Essence of Infinite, and that would guarantee us a third stat. And that's how you craft breach rings. So I can keep trying. I'll see if I can. I'll use a couple more. And we'll see if we can hit something. So there's a 32. Put these over here. So 32 is 26. Another 26. That one's not bad. That one wasn't bad. I'm not really interested in that one right now. This one's not bad. I've got some random ones left. Alright, so same again. Just augment everything. Evasion's bad. Increase rarity, tier 4. We can regal anything that we don't think's too great. Check the price. Not worth anything. Get rid of it. Okay, right. So we're going off track a little bit. Let me get back on the track. So this one's not bad. So basically, if you, like I say, if you don't hit 2 of the max tier rolls, you just want to slam your augments, slam regals, check again. 9 all elemental res. This isn't terrible. Like I say, because we're using this our price check thing, we can check the price of this. Not amazing. This one, oh, this ring we'll check the price once again. Not amazing. This one's pretty good. This one we would Exalt Slam, because this is pretty much all mana related rolls. Hit rarity, accuracy, chaos damage. Those rolls are kind of bad, but you can see here. So this one's mostly a mana ring. As you can see, prices aren't very high. If I go to catalysts, now I go to mana, and I spam this with mana catalysts until 50%. If we now check the price, as you can see, it's gone from like 8 exalts to a divine. So make sure you're checking, and then always check for, if you boosted the stats, how much is it worth. So rings with a lot of mana, intelligence, mana regen, very good. Rings with high damage stats, like the increased physical, increased cold, with resistances or dexterity, intelligence for stat stacking, very good. And you can increase these with attack modifier catalysts, increases the price even more. So that's how you craft breach rings. I know my explanation isn't that great, but hopefully you get the gist of how that works from what I have explained. So like I say, I can just put this up for 1 div, sell it off. These other rings kind of rolled mid. Nothing too fancy. You can just get rid of them. But you can roll some crazy rings. So, for instance, I rolled these when I first, a long time ago. I rolled these rings. And if you were to check, I mean, they probably aren't even on the market, but just the 2 stats here. Just 49 strength, 49 int, 2 div. So if I was to add like the physical damage, 15, cold damage, we're up like mirror prices. So yeah, I crafted these rings myself. Obviously, it's got 1 dead roll of accuracy. But if you hold alt, it's got a really high fizz damage roll, really high cold damage roll. The intelligence is max, strength is max, and the fire res is nearly max. So like I say, with the stats in strength, dex, all attributes, if you roll high on those, you're guaranteed profit every single time. So that's the best way to craft breach rings, and you can make a lot of money from it. One other thing, guys, is I have changed and updated the filter. I will put the link back in the description of this video. What I've done is I've changed it so it only shows you level 81 plus ones. I have removed a lot of the base items like the armor and evasion bases because they don't really sell for anything. They're not that great. So it's sort of just made it a bit more strict. Other than that, there's no other changes that should be completely fine. I think I increased the item level of all the bases as well from like, I think it was 78, I put it to 79. So you'll only find like the higher tier items in the tier 15 maps, or if you're running like tier 14s that are boosted, you'll find those sort of items in there as well. I hope this has helped a little bit more and helped explain how to set up maps, how to run maps. I suppose I'll go into a little bit more about the maps. So on your character, if you can get up to like 100-200% rarity, it will help you a lot getting loot, especially currency drops. Quantity is always best if you're trying to do breaches. You just want to max out quantity and rare monsters. Rarity can come on the map, or you can bring it on your gear, so you can get rarity in multiple ways. But quantity is very hard to get, other than doing it yourself through the towers. That's the easiest way to get it. So yeah, make sure you're getting quantity on your breach maps, make sure you're getting rare monsters, and make sure you're getting some rarity on your gear or on the map that you're running. Also, don't forget that delirium on your maps is very important if you want to run endgame content. This will boost your maps a lot, get you a lot more loot, increase your monster density, which then equals even more loot. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you can bring something out of this. I'm sorry, my explanations aren't that great. Like I say, I don't run scripts, I just sort of do it off the dome and try and remember. But if you did like, drop a little comment down below. I'm always helping, replying. If anyone needs any help, I'll reply straight away. Any questions, or even anything that you want me to speak about or have an opinion on, I'm more than happy to do that. But if you don't mind, drop a little like as well. Maybe subscribe if you want to see some more content like this. And I'll be with you in the next one. Peace.